all this year so far.
Yes, both teams have had a really strong start to the season, especially at the away competitions. Georgia and Missouri have reached a 196 mark in their team total. This is really important for the team competition because this counts towards the regional qualifying score. So both teams should really try to continue on this path.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the upcoming meets for both of these teams as they face some stiff competition on the roads. But competition here in Columbia, Missouri, getting ready to kick off. Here is a look at Missouri since they are the home team. They will be tackling the vault first. One athlete to watch, Britney Ward. She is a freshman, but she has been really stepping up her game on the vault. She's had over 9.9 this year.
Specialist of the week. Also, we have Xarria Lewis, who is actually making her debut on the vault today. She had pulled her hamstring earlier on before season began, and she's ready to hit it off.
And of course, first down the runway will be Angie Kern.
Now, Angie has a 9.725 average on this event.
It's a great start for Missouri.
Just a slight hop on the end there.
Have we seen Missouri change much since the start values for some of the, we'll call favored vaults of the gymnasts at the college level? They changed the scoring. Have we seen Missouri change its vaults?
Actually, Missouri is one of those teams that have stayed with their old vaults. They want to keep it clean, and so the girls are comfortable with what they're doing.
Of course, we have Natalie Vaculik coming up on the uneven bars. You just saw Georgia's lineup. A lot of strong competitors. Several of their 6 competitors tonight have scored 9.8s or above on this event.
So far, really strong handstands. Onto her dismount. A full-in with a stick. What a great start for Georgia.
Georgia's been impressive on both bars and vaults in most of their competitions. This isn't a surprise.
Yes, they are ranked 4th on the uneven bars.
And here's just a reminder about some of the rules that we are paying attention. You'll see 6 gymnasts per team compete on each event, but only the 5 top scores will count. The lowest will be dropped. After the 4 apparatus, the team with the highest cumulative score, of course, will win. And as we talked about, home team tackles the vault, the bars, the beam, and then the floor.
A very nice vault by Shauna Miller. A Yurchenko layout full with a very good landing, just a slight step with their foot.
How picky are, I wouldn't take off for that slight step, but how picky are judges?
Oh, very picky. It's all about getting the perfect score, honestly, right there.
And of course, back over to Georgia on the uneven bars tonight. We have Gracie Cherrey. Her high is a 9.8. She is a freshman for the Gym Dogs. And I just saw a 9.75 for Shauna Miller's vault come in.
A board mount into a good hit, cast a handstand. You can see that rotation in her release was really strong. A little short on that bail. Okay, here comes a dismount. Another stick possibly? She might have pulled that one off if the judges.
Very happy about this. Let's take another look. You must have saw something.
Yes, you can see that she almost stuck it, but she's falling backwards, so the judges may take off for that. It just depends on how they feel.
Right, we have Kennedi Harris up for Missouri, the sophomore. She's a strong competitor, very young team, this Missouri team.
A Yurchenko layout 4. A big hop on the end. We'll have to see how badly that will be deducted.
Here's another look.
Just that hop on the end and a slight feet separation before doing her back handspring on the table. But she looks pretty happy about it.
A 9.75 for her on her vault. You may be noticing the pink that both teams are wearing tonight. It is pink out inside Mizzou Arena.
Next, on guard, Sydney Snead.
We'll have to see how Sydney does today. She had a slight mess up at the last competition on this event.
We talked quite a bit with her coach about she had a back injury that took her out of the lineup for several months, most of last year, from like February to September. She had to sit in a back brace and not do any gymnastics. Fully healed.
And a great landing for Snead. You know, that's really impressive to see gymnasts come back from such a big injury.
When we talked with her coach, Dana Durante, she commented, and they're getting a big hug from her coach. They commented about how she trusted that her body was back, her body was strong, and that helped propel her forward into the competition.
We'll see her again on 2 other events, so here goes Morgan Porter. A nice vault by Morgan Porter as well.
Now, I didn't see a hop.
You can see that right when she pushes off the table, she was a little bit on the front, and another hop. Because this is going to be such a close competition, we're going to have to see a lot more sticks from Missouri if they want to keep up with Georgia.
9.7. I don't think we've gotten above a 9.7 on scores for Missouri on vault yet.
9.75, but yes, no 9.8 so far.
And for Sydney Snead, I believe I see a 9.8 over on the bars. Rachel Schick for the Georgia Gym Dogs up on bars right now.
A very impressive release there, and another one.
This routine has garnered her a 9.875 so far this season.
You can see the confidence in her skills, always hitting those handstands very sharp and clean. And for the dismount, a double layout, oh, and a step at the end, but still very strong routine. Up next on the vault, you'll see Britney Ward. She is Specialist of the Week. Oh, here's another replay of that release. Really great turnover.
When you say Specialist of the Week, it's for SEC, and she stood out because she took home honors for career-high scores against Alabama last week. She had a personal best 9.925 on the vault.
A very small hop at the end, but great height on that vault. You could just tell the power and how excited she is, and she should be.
We'll see her again later on the beam. The second honor she had last week was a 9.9 on the beam.
Just missing that stick there.
Standout senior for Georgia, getting ready to take the bars. Brandie Jay out of Fort Collins, Colorado. She's been impressive and strong for the Bulldogs so far this season.
She averages a 9.85 on this particular event.
And I just saw 9.85 come in for Britney Ward.
A clean routine so far for Brandie Jay. Into her release.
she's also the only all-around athlete performing tonight for both teams. Missouri does not have an all-around.
As you saw right there, a full twisting double layout. You don't see many of those in the college gymnastics world. Just a slight step on that dismount. Here goes the dismount again. Oh, and the release.
And here we go. Xarria Lewis, she is a hometown favorite if you didn't hear the uptick in cheers from the crowd.
She's known to have a lot of power. And there it is. Just a small bounce at the end, but overall, really high vault. Here's the instant replay. You could just see how much more lift in the air she had on her vault.
For her, this is her first competition in the college level and for this team tonight, so I'm sure a lot of excitement and hype for her. Brittany Rogers will be the last competitor for the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. She has pulled a 9.925 as a high score this season for this bar routine.
Wow, a great combination from that release there. The only way to do a real combination is by rotating through your release move, and that's exactly what she did. Here comes a dismount. Double layout, just a slight hop. Really strong lineup from the Georgia Gym Dogs. Here's that release combination into a pack salto.
And of course, that is the end of the first rotation here from Columbia, Missouri tonight. There you see Missouri's coach Shannon Welker. Maybe some possible low scores for the Missouri Tigers on the vault. We'll see how they do heading over to bars, but it should be impressive as Georgia makes their way over to vault. Again, the end of rotation 1, rotation 2. When we return here, you're watching SEC Gymnastics, number 10 Georgia versus number 15 Missouri. And welcome back to Pink Out inside Mizzou Arena tonight in Columbia, Missouri. SEC Gymnastics here on the SEC Network. We have number 10 Georgia Bulldogs, number 15 Missouri Tigers with their home crowd, obviously, and cheers tonight. Let's talk about the first rotation. Let's start with Missouri on the vault tonight. What did you see?
Well, I saw a lot of steps and hops from Missouri's team, just a lack of sticking all together. As for Georgia on the bars, they had a lot of hit handstands and clean lines and sticks. So in order for Missouri to keep up with Georgia, they are going to have some better landings.
And of course, we saw a lot of 9.7s coming off the vault for Missouri Tigers, and more impressive 9.8s and higher over on the bars. We're going to expect our vault scores are coming in for you to have a look at that. 9.6s for the first two vaults. You mentioned the hops. I believe they had two major hops from those first two competitors, but the 9.6 from Angie Kern, of course, will be dropped tonight.
Yes, we have the highest score on the vault from Britney Ward, the SEC Specialist of the Week. So luckily they got a 9.8 in there.
And of course, the Georgia Bulldogs were over on the bars to start for us. The warm-ups, as you can see, have switched. You can see the Bulldogs getting ready for their warm-ups on vault right now. More impressive over on the bars for the Bulldogs. 9.75 will obviously be dropped from Gracie Cherrey, but look at those 9.8s, 9.875s. Really strong for the Bulldogs.
You can definitely tell that they are a top 10 team.
And of course, Dana Durante, their coach, has been in the top 10. The first 3 years, she's in year 4 with the Bulldogs, and she's been a top 10 team. for the first 3 of her career so far. Again, we mentioned they have switched. Rotation 2 is getting ready to kick off. When we return, you're going to see the Georgia Bulldogs on the vault. You're going to see the Missouri Tigers over on the uneven bars. You're watching the SEC Network here. When we come back, one GiGi Marino to watch out for on the vault.
This is how lenders saw me. In my 20s, I was super irresponsible with credit cards. Shopping, going out all the time. I knew it was time for Experian. They gave me the tools to see what helps and hurts my FICO score, so I could finally get serious about managing my credit. Now lenders see me for who I really am. Someone who would never rack up a lot of debt. And someone who would never follow a band on tour.
Get serious about your credit. Get Experian. Go to Experian.com and start your credit tracker trial membership today.
Daddy, you done yet?
One last screw, sweetie, and we're done.
Sweet! You deserve the sweet reward of a Diet Dr. Pepper.
I do?
You built this big old house with that tiny tool.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh.
That is sweet.
Oh, yeah!
You know, the game's about to start.
That's my ride.
Is that our cat?
Step on it. Real sweet! Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the sweet one.
Bulls, Cavs, tomorrow at 8:30 on ABC.
And welcome back inside Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri tonight. SEC Network coverage of SEC Gymnastics. We have the number 10 Georgia Bulldogs taking on the number 15 Missouri Tigers. An impressive start for both of these teams this year already to jump in their rankings from the preseason polls. Coming up in rotation 2, let's talk a little bit about who we're going to be watching on the vault for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, for the Georgia Bulldogs, they're actually ranked number 3 in the nation, so every vault here is going to be very impressive, especially from senior Brandie Jay. She's a 2-time event-winning title for this event.
She has almost a perfect score. She has a 9.975 for a career high.
Yes, that's almost unheard of. Very hard to make a perfect score on an event, so just right there.
Georgia, let's talk a little bit about Georgia. Last week, or actually just Monday night against Stanford, I believe, they were number 1 vault score in the nation.
Yes, with a 49.5 as the vault score. That's almost perfect.
How often does that happen in college gymnastics, to walk away from an event with an almost perfect 10 across the board for each of those gymnasts?
You know, you get a few each year, but this early on, extremely impressive.
Let's talk a little bit about Missouri over on the bars. Who should we be watching for the Missouri Tigers?
For the bars, I'd say we should watch out for Morgan Porter. Her average is above a 9.825 on this event.
And of course, the Tigers tonight have almost all sophomores and freshmen in their lineup on every single event, mainly because their entire team is over 60% underclassmen.
Yes, more than half of their team is underclassmen. And actually, from this season, 61% of all the routines that have been in competition are from the freshmen.
And here we are, we're kicking off round 2, rotation 2 for the Georgia Bulldogs. Again, that career high at 9.975 on this vault.
With a stick. Wonderful start for Georgia on the vault. Her average score is a 9.8, but definitely going to get a higher score with the stuck vault.
And of course, you just saw the Bulldogs coach coming up behind she is in awe. She had a huge smile on her face, Dana Durante. This squad is stellar when it comes to vaulting. It'll be exciting to see what the remaining 5 athletes pull out for them. Here's a look at what Missouri will be, who will be performing for Missouri on the uneven bars. And again, look at that, freshman, freshman, sophomore, freshman, freshman, sophomore.
Here we have Madeleine Huber. She has been a great leadoff for Missouri's bar lineup, especially with a 9.8 average. A nice combination there, Jaeger straight into a bail. definitely helps with endurance for the routine, takes out an extra hip cast to handstand. A double layout dismount. And a step and a half almost on that landing. But overall, a really clean start for Mizzou.
Missouri is trailing just a little bit after that first rotation. Almost looked like she was over-rotating.
Yes, you could see that she was really over-rotated and had a lot of power on that dismount. Just a little too much.
Natalie Vaculik for the Georgia Bulldogs. They make this look easy.
Hopefully we could get a replay of that. It looked like a stick on that ball as well.
A 9.825 for Ashlyn Broussard. Here comes Allison Bower for the Missouri Tigers, a season high of 9.75 on the bars.
She's known to be very consistent on this event, so it's great that she's the second person up for the Tigers.
There is a little bit of gameplay in the lineup for these teams.
Yes, they usually start off with the most consistent gymnast, and as they go along, they will choose the gymnasts that get the highest scores, because the judges will get really amped up with each routine if it looks better than the other. And so scores will be higher. A blind into a Jaeger is what we're going to see here. Very clean lines by Allison Bower. Just a dismount left to go. A full out and just a slight hop.
Looks like Madeleine Huber had a 9.7 on her uneven bars routine. Snead, it's just hard not to talk about what this young lady went through last year to come back to perform and compete for the Georgia Bulldogs this year.
And another wonderful landing. You could just see how aligned her body was, chest up. Here's the replay again. Super tight all around and just straight on top.
A 9.9 for Snead.
You come to wonder what kind of tips they're teaching these girls on vault to stick every single time.
Becca Schugel for Mizzou.
A blind change into a Jaeger and then a bail. There it is. Just a slight leg separation there, but still a clean combination. A blind full, just a little bit late there, but a stuck landing. That's exactly what we've been looking for from Mizzou's team, and there you have it. Here's that double back. Although a double back may be a easier dismount, coming out of a combination of a blind full gives that bonus and difficulty.
We told you to watch out for GiGi Marino with a 9.9 high for the Georgia Bulldogs.
A Yurchenko 1.5 with just a small hop, but a lot of power. The head coach says that she is small but explosive, and that's exactly what you saw. Here's that 1.5 vault again. This is a blind landing, so it's especially hard to get a stick in there.
And of course, she has 2 more years. She's only a sophomore for the Bulldogs. She still has 2 more years under head coach Dana Durante. Let's look over at Brooke Kelly. She has 5.98 scores or higher so far this year. She's one of the standouts for this young team.
Nice hit pass of handstands by Brooke Kelly. Onto that dismount, she'll be doing a double layout. And just a small hop there. Here's that dismount again for you. You can see a lot of air time there, but just a small hop backwards.
And here comes Brittany Rogers.
At the last meet against Stanford, she got a 9.95 on this event.
She's one of the standouts for Coach Durante.
And a 1.5 Yurchenko stop.
Coach commented about how strong her seniors were for this team, and she fought to keep that landing from having a step.
That just shows us the team's character right there about never giving up. Their motto this year is actually to have resilience. So never giving up or bouncing back from anything that comes their way.
And here's the other freshman standout, Morgan Porter for Missouri. We talked about the 9.85 for Brooke Kelly. She's leading the team with 7 9.8s or higher so far this year.
The Jaeger into the bail combination has been a popular one for Mizzou's team. And a really unique dismount here, a double front. Slight cowboy there, but a pretty good landing for a blind landing.
You kind of talked a little bit about the lineups. If you look at Missouri's score on bars, 9.7, 9.75, 9.8, 9.85, it just keeps growing and getting more impressive. The only all-arounder tonight, Brandie Jay for the Georgia Bulldogs, coming up on vault. She will wrap up this competition for the second rotation.
Yurchenko 1.5 with just a slight hop. You could tell within the gymnast's face that they are ready for the landing. They are trying to see exactly what's in front of them so they could just stop and stick it. Georgia is a really unique team where they've actually worked towards getting that 10.0 start value and doing more difficult vaults. At the end there, you saw a lot more Yurchenko 1.5s coming from that team.
And of course, the scores that they've had the past couple of weeks is proof of that. Shauna Miller, final competitor for the Missouri Tigers over on bars tonight.
A blind to Jaeger. You can see that she's really tight within her skills. A little bit of a over arch on that cast handstand and just not ready for that dismount. Looks like Missouri is going all out though. You can see that they're all over rotations rather than under rotating.
9.875 over for Brandie Jay for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Double layout with a hop step.
And a reminder tonight, competition has ended, but we do have an exhibition coming up for the University of Missouri tonight on bars. This is not a score that will count in any way in tonight's competition. Remember, you have 6 competitors, which we have finished. 5 of those scores will count in the final tally. 9.875s, 3 9.875s for Georgia on the vault tonight.
Those are very high scores, just a 10th and a little more of a deduction, and that's all.
Tia Allbritten out of Garland, Texas is a sophomore for the Tigers. The exhibition is she wants to prove to her coaches that she is ready to take on the bars in competition.
And she has a lot to prove on this event because a lot of the skills are brand new. She just learned them over the summer and has been trying to add it into a routine. And you can see they're just lost the grip at the very end. Always a disappointing feeling being a gymnast and to miss a skill, just barely hanging on and missing. But this is her chance to prove that she has resilience and can continue the routine strong.
Gymnasts, I believe, have 30 seconds to get back on the bars to continue, and they can pick up where they left off.
Looks a little bit like she got flustered there, just trying to finish up the routine as fast as she could. And under rotation with a step there.
And that is the end of rotation 2 here inside Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri, where the number 10 Georgia Bulldogs are taking on the number 15 Missouri Tigers. We are now switching apparatus. Georgia just finished up on vault, which was very impressive tonight. When we come back, Missouri will be over on beam, and the Georgia Bulldogs will be on the floor. Georgia Bulldogs are leading the Missouri Tigers 98.450 to 97.725. A recap of rotation 2 when we come back. And welcome back to Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri, where the number 10 Georgia Bulldogs are taking on the number 15 Missouri Tigers in SEC Gymnastics tonight. Right now, the Bulldogs are leading Missouri 98.450 to 97.725. A little recap really quick of rotation 2. We had the Bulldogs on vault. Very impressive showing.
They had a really strong
Brandie Jay was obviously the high score at 9.875. For the Missouri Tigers, it was Brooke Kelly who was a standout. What was it about her routine that kind of took in such a good score for the Missouri Tigers?
Brooke Kelly hit a lot of handstands, and all of her skills are really clean with tight legs. Just a slight step on the end for her dismount.
And of course, when we come back, it'll be rotation 3. Both teams warming up right now. The Missouri Tigers will be on the beam and the Georgia Bulldogs on the floor. And again, welcome back to Mizzou Arena. Competition halfway over here against the Georgia Bulldogs and the Missouri Tigers. Both of these teams in the top 25, but the Georgia Bulldogs top 10. You're going to see your Missouri Tigers over on the beam to kick it off. We have Tia Allbritten, Allison Bower, Shauna Miller. We're looking at this, but again, just like we saw on bars, you're going to see only freshmen and sophomore competing for these Missouri Tigers. It's a very young team. One of the standouts that we could possibly be paying close attention to is Britney Ward on beam. She's had a career 9.9, a career high 9.9. Kicking it off for the Tigers, though, will be Tia Allbritten, 9.85. Not too shabby either. What is it that judges will be paying attention to for beam in this rotation?
Mainly, they'll be focusing on whether they'll be sticking their dismount and to see if they have any wobbles or bent legs within their skills.
You may be noticing a lot of pink inside the Mizzou Arena tonight. It is pink out, honoring breast cancer survivors tonight. Not sure what we're waiting on. We expected when we came back from break that we were going to be kicking off beam coverage for you tonight.
It's always nerve-wracking as a gymnast to just be waiting for the judges to just lift their hands and tell you to go.
Of course, a lot of fun and excited fans. And here we are, Tia Allbritten on beam for Missouri.
Tia has been a really consistent beamer for the Missouri Tigers as their leadoff. A slight balance check there in between that combination, so that might break the flight series. A very nice 180 in those leaps and split jump.
The jumps and the turn, of course, requirements.
Yes. A really strong aerial gymnast. We just saw her do 3 different acrobatic skills and a stuck dismount.
Home team tonight always kicking it off over on beam for rotation 3, which means our away team, the Georgia Bulldogs, will be showing their skills on the floor. Here's a look at the lineup. Sydney Snead, a freshman for the Bulldogs. 3 seniors to pay attention to: Mary Beth Box, Rogers, and Jay. Here's Sydney Snead.
A very long pass there by Sydney Snead. Looks like she might have been a tumbler before even gymnastics. A really strong whip into 2 back handsprings and a double back. You can see the team really getting into this floor music, clapping along with the rhythm. Here comes her last pass. A clean double pike, just a little under rotation there with the chest down. Overall, really strong routine.
You talked a little bit about that first pass and how long it was. Tell us what she was doing here.
She's doing a round-off whip, 2 back handsprings into a double tuck. So that's a double salto pass there.
On beam for your Missouri Tigers, Allison Bower.
Allison Bower over on beam for the Tigers. Again, only freshman and sophomore for the Missouri team tonight.
Here comes her flight series, a back handspring layout. A big wobble there. That could go up to 3/10.
It's always better to wobble than to fall off.
Yes, never give up and fall off the beam. Now, Bower was actually an exhibition spot for the first competition, and it looks like she proved herself enough to be in the lineup today.
We actually had a lineup change for Missouri. Allison Bower was always in it, but she was supposed to be in spot 3. Morgan Porter was supposed to be in the 2nd spot. Porter was removed, and instead Shauna Miller you'll see coming up next for Missouri.
And just the dismount left. A small hop by Bower. Doesn't look too happy with the routine, just some slight bobbles here and there.
Let's take another look at this pass.
Here you can see the back handspring layout. She was a little off to the right, causing her to try to save it from being a fall.
But a reminder to everybody at home, that beam is only 4 inches wide. Vivi Babalis, when we talked to Coach about Vivi, she has an elbow problem, and she was limited to only being able to do the floor and the beam because she can't straighten one of her arms.
A very high double back. I always say with dramatic music comes really big tumbling skills, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Vivi. With an average of a 9.775 on this event, she's proving to be a very consistent athlete.
And she's only a sophomore for the Bulldogs.
With such strong beats in this routine, you could actually feel the floor move below you. And a double peg to finish it off. Also, just a little bit of under rotation.
It doesn't seem to me being the away team is causing them any problems tonight inside Mizzou Arena. For Tia, we have a 9.75 on beam tonight.
That's a very strong score for a leadoff spot. If they continue to do good routines like this, then you'll expect to see higher scores.
9.8 for Sydney Snead on floor. And again, here's Shauna Miller.
Taking the spot for Morgan Porter. A back handspring layout series by Shauna with a big bobble there.
And of course, you can always drop your lowest score, but 2 pretty severe wobbles for 2 of the performers already for Missouri.
But a nice confident jump combination there by Shauna. A side aerial there. A slight balance check. And a cartwheel into a gainer full, stuck dismount. A good finish. Here comes that flight series again, where she had a major wobble there.
It seems like the flight series for all of the Missouri Tigers has been where the wobble is.
That's typically where you'll see a major wobble because it is the biggest skill in the routine.
We talked about Georgia's vault score, but GiGi Marino has a career high of a 9.95 on the floor event.
And a huge double layout by GiGi there. I can see why the head coach says she is explosive. Didn't expect that out of such a small gymnast.
I will say that made my eyes go very big.
And you can see that she's having a lot of fun in this routine with a little bit of a smile coming out of her. We round off 1.5 layout. A small hop there. A little breakdance move there.
And she was one of the top finishers. She tied with a fellow teammate against Arkansas and Stanford on the floor event.
Last pass with a double pike finish. And a very strong landing there. With such a strong routine, you got to be really critical with what to deduct on. Here's that small hop where they might take some tenths off.
Becca Schugel. Her beam average is a 9.7. Missouri's going to need her to be pretty solid if they want to kind of catch up with the Georgia Bulldogs tonight.
She has a 3-skill flight series here. Back handspring layout.
Smaller wobble.
Looks like the Missouri Tigers are a little bit jittery right now on this event.
Well, we talked for the Georgia Bulldogs, it was the beam against Stanford this past Monday.
Looks like Becca Schugel is keeping her composure as she finishes up her routine here with a gainer layout full. And a nice stick to finish it off. Although they have had some major wobbles on their flight series, we have seen a lot of sticks on their dismount.
And that may be helping their scores. A 9.775 in for, I believe that was just for Becca's. Mary Beth Box, one of the seniors for Georgia. All of her teammates over on the side doing the routine along with her.
A very high double pike by Mary Beth Box. And really getting into those dance moves. That's exactly what you want to see, and that'll make the judges excited to want to give you a higher score. Even adding some facial expressions there.
I actually saw the judge smiling behind her, so it must be working.
There seems to be a trend with music for Georgia. All of them playing with the college environment.
Kind of a hip-hop.
Here comes the last pass. A double tuck to finish it off. She has gotten 2.99 so far this season on floor. Wouldn't be surprised to see that again.
Let's take a look at some of her pass work. You talked about this team being explosive. What did you see tonight with her?
Definitely great height and also the chest up in her landings.
GiGi Marino, who you saw perform before, had a 9.875. Here's Brooke Kelly from Missouri. She's been a standout freshman for the Tigers so far this year, both at home and on the road.
A front aerial with a balance check. She's actually struggled with this skill during season and actually fell at the first competition.
The only thing she doesn't perform for Missouri is the vault.
Yes, 3 events starting off as a freshman is very impressive. And unfortunately, a fall on the jump series. The sheep jump is difficult to do on the beam, however. And a round off 1.5 with a step.
Mary Beth Box, a 9.9 for her floor routine.
Here you can see the jumps again. A great straddle, but the sheep jump was a little too much to the side. Her heels were coming right off of that beam.
How much of the deduction is a fall?
It will be 1/2 tenth for the fall, but also there's added deduction for any form mess-ups as well.
Senior Brittany Rogers for the Georgia Bulldogs tonight.
A round off back handspring double Arabian. That's the first one we've seen tonight. Has really great extension in her arms. Round off 1.5 front layout there. Seems to be a very popular second pass.
She is an all-arounder tonight. She's doing all 4 along with Brandie Jay, fellow senior for the Georgia Gym Dogs.
It's always nice to have your last pass right by your team because you could really hear them cheer you on. A double pike to finish it off. Very strong routine there.
Brittany Rogers, Georgia Bulldogs.
We're really only 3 weeks into the season, but it already seems like everyone's endurance is improving when it comes to the floor routines.
Certainly, you can see that all their chests are up. Here comes Britney Ward, SEC Specialist of the Week.
And of course, the specialist was both for last weekend or last week against number 6 Alabama. She had a personal best 9.925 on vault, and she had beam. She won the beam title with a career high of 9.9. She's out of Ozark, Missouri.
Another 3-series combination and perfectly hit.
Missouri needs a solid performance. Brittany may just be providing that for them right now.
You know you see good gymnastics when everything just looks easy. And I can tell you it definitely is not. A clean side aerial there. Down off 1.5 with a small pop at the end. Strongest routine so far for the Tigers on the balance beam. Here's that 3 series for you. And no wobbles at all on that.
And look at this career high at 9.975 for Brandie Jay.
hard to top that kind of score. And a round up back handspring full in. The most difficult tumbling pass we've seen today. And if you don't recognize this music, it's from Stick It, the gymnastics film. It's impressive to see that she has really difficult tumbling passes, and she could do it so clean.
But yet her energy still looks really good. We still have another pass to go. Of course, the Georgia Bulldogs have their eye on another regional championship. They want to make the Super Six. They want to go to Nationals. And that was one of the goals they told their coach they wanted this year.
A very nice routine. Going to be a very big score here.
Although you said, I believe it was her second pass, maybe the hardest. Here's a look at that final tumbling.
Here it is, the hardest pass.
That was her first one. Back to Missouri. A Missouri native, Parkville, Missouri. Here's Michaelee Turner. This is the first time we're seeing Michaelee tonight. This is exhibition bonus coverage for you tonight. Our 6 competitors have finished on both beam and floor. This is, again, the athletes trying to prove to their coach that they have what it takes to compete in this event in the future.
A slight balance check there, but besides that, so far, very solid routine.
And we just saw coming in a 9-9 for Britney Ward for Missouri. They needed that score.
A nice leap combination there. And a 1.5, just a little under-rotated, but overall, looks like she's getting confident up there on that beam.
And of course, that brings this rotation to a close. We have Missouri just finishing up on beam. They, of course, will head over to the floor for warm-ups. Georgia Bulldogs heading over to beam where they struggled last year. When we return, we'll find out if the lineup changes has made an improvement for them. Right now, Georgia leads Missouri 147-675 to 146-725. Rotation 3 just finished up. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw on the beam and the floor. A little rough for Missouri and pretty impressive for Georgia.
Yes, unfortunately for Missouri, there was just a lot of lack of confidence and major balance checks, especially on the flight series. But for the floor, Georgia had a really impressive lineup considering they had very high tumbling passes and hardly any mistakes there. How many 9-9s did you say they had?
There were 2. In fact, here's a look at the scores from that rotation 3 on the beam for Missouri. The low was an 8-9 for Brooke Kelly. We saw her fall off. Of course, that score is dropped, but Britney Ward bounced back with a 9-9. Of course, the standout athlete for SEC this past week. But again, like you just said, 2 9-9s for the Georgia Bulldogs over on the floor. Their lowest score, I believe, was a 9-7, 9-7-2-5. Of course, that one was dropped from Vivi Babalis. But GiGi Marino was impressive. Beth Box was impressive. Brandie Jay was impressive for the Georgia Bulldogs. When we come back, the final rotation, we're going to have Missouri, the home team, tackle the floor, and of course the Georgia Bulldogs will be taking on the beam, which gave them some troubles as well last week against Stanford. And again, welcome back tonight. Georgia Bulldogs ranked 10 right now against the number 15 Missouri Tigers. Georgia's been very impressive under Dana Durante since she arrived. She's in her 4th season for the Gym Dogs as head coach. She's only finished in the top 10 those 3 years prior to this year. She has coached 11 All-Americans in the past 2 seasons, and she says this team, for her, they are focused. They want to make it to regionals. They want to make it to nationals. They want to probably kick Florida out of that top spot if you really sat down and probably talked to all of her athletes. But tonight, they're very impressive. Coming up, Georgia over on the beam. They struggled with this against Stanford. In fact, they were very impressive until they got over to beam. She talked a little bit about possible lineup changes. And pay attention to Vivi Babalis. This is the athlete, she was saying, has an elbow condition, an elbow injury that does not allow her to straighten her arms. So they created an entire routine for her. A mix of seniors, juniors, and sophomores. Ashlyn Broussard is kicking it off for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Ashlyn has been gaining consistency on this event ever since the first competition where she had a little bit of a struggle point, but since then, really solid scores from her. Here comes her flight series. A back handspring layout with a one-arm back handspring in there, I believe.
One arm seems uncommon.
Yes, usually you see gymnasts do both arms, but on certain occasions, they do use one arm. Here comes her acro, and unfortunately a fall. You can see that she got really nervous after she fell. Luckily, a really good landing for her dismount. Now, last competition, the Georgia Bulldogs fell 4 times on the beam. That would mean 3 of their scores counted, taking at least 1.5 off of their total score. So, although Missouri might be the underdog at this competition, it may not even matter depending on how well Georgia does on beam.
And of course, Brooke Kelly's going to lead it off for the Tigers on the final event for them tonight, the floor. An average of a 9.750. She has scored as high as a 9.8 for this routine.
A really solid double pike there. Lots of height and great rotation.
Her team cheering her on for a second pass.
And a clean second pass there. A very fun, lighthearted routine to start off the floor lineup for Mizzou. Now she struggled with endurance for her last pass. Let's see if she could turn it around for this competition. A double tuck and improvements there, just a little bit of chest down. A good lead-off routine by Brooke Kelly. A A front layout, front full. Turned a little bit too early on her twisting, so you could see that she wasn't aligned with the corner at the end there.
A 9-1 for that Allison Broussard routine over on beam for Georgia. Not the start I'm sure they wanted. They were hoping to bounce back after last week's turnout on the beam.
Oh, and another fall. That was a flight series. And as we talked about earlier, this is Vivi, the one that cannot straighten one of her elbows.
You can see it wrapped up there underneath her right elbow, her right arm. You can see her wrap. Now, of course, you've already dropped. You can only drop one. We've had 2 falls. You can only drop one of those low scores. 9-1-5.
That would mean that one fall will definitely be a part of their combined score for the event.
We'll just have to see if she gets a higher score than the 9-1.50.
And an under rotation with a hop back. Does not seem very pleased with that routine.
You can tell the energy for the Bulldogs seemed to have dropped when they walked over to the beam.
Definitely more tense. You can see that she was already a little off with a small balance check and could not turn it around for that second part.
And not happy. Allison Bower is now going to take the floor for the Missouri Tigers. She is the second in our lineup for Mizzou in this 4th rotation. We saw her on beam and bars tonight as well.
And a stuck double pike there. A 1.5 punch front tuck. Looks like that was supposed to be a front layout, but just a little too loose to be able to bounce out of that correctly. Her average on this event is a little above a 9.55, so you can see that it's a little bit of a struggle point for her, but she's been able to keep a smile on her face through it all. And of course she could turn it around for this last pass coming up.
You'll have to remember this Missouri team has 2 juniors and a senior. The rest are freshmen and sophomore. There are 8 freshmen.
And a strong finish for Bowers.
Was the second pass here the one that you thought that she maybe had to make an adjustment?
Yes, here's the struggle point. Just almost an over rotation on the 1.5, so she couldn't punch straight up and down to get the height in order to do that front layout that she wanted to do.
And here comes senior Brandie Jay. Look at that career high of a 9.975 on the beam.
Last meet, she got a 9.825 on this event, and the Bulldogs strongly need that score. A small balance check there on the side aerial. Front toss into back handspring. Pretty strong. A really unique leap combination there. I've actually never seen that.
And of course, she had the standout, never seen pass in her floor routine. It says something about having some seniors on your squad.
She was really great with facial expressions on the floor, and you could see that she's trying to bring out some smiles on the beam, loosening up that tension that the team has had. A great landing for the dismount.
And she seems very excited. She almost seems stunned by her performance.
I would say she's definitely relieved. The team really needed that hit.
Angie Kern is up next for Missouri. You saw her first for vault for the Tigers tonight.
Angie Kern's really unique in that she actually choreographs her own floor routine. And a solid double pike there for her first pass. Now coming up is her second pass. She actually fell on this pass at the last competition and has struggled throughout the season on it. We'll have to see if she can make it up. And there it is.
I would say some practice did her some good.
You could almost see the facial expression change. A lot more smiles and energy coming out of her now.
She seems far more relaxed. Final pass.
From handspring Rudy. A strong routine for the Tigers. Here comes that second pass that she really bounced back from when looking back at her past competition.
That looks like an example of she just passed that mental benchmark. She needed to get past that so she could relax for the rest of the routine. Rachel Schick for the Georgia Bulldogs. She is fourth in the lineup for them. The first two competitors fell for Georgia. They had a tough beam route last week. But of course, senior Brandie Jay pulled out an impressive performance just before Rachel.
A solid flight series for Rachel Schick. For the past competitions, she seemed a little rusty on this event. But it looks like she's regaining some confidence here. Slight balance check earlier in that acro. A unique combination there, a one-arm front walkover into a leap. A solid side aerial there too. Looks like Rachel Schick is proving herself tonight on the balance beam. Able to hit a routine under pressure with a stuck dismount.
It looks like the Bulldogs could be turning around their beam tonight. Brittany Jay had a 9.850.
And here's that solid finish with a stick.
Angie Kern had a 9.825 on floor. Here is Michaelee Turner.
We saw her previously exhibition on the balance beam. This will be the first event that she will be counted for the lineup. Double pike here. Slight under rotation step forward. Judges usually find it okay to have a step back for a tumbling pass, but a step forward for a backwards pass is usually a deduction. A 1.5 punch front leg, very clean. Looks like a trend of relief bases after the second pass. It's like they know that once they hit that, they can finish their routine strong.
She's getting ready for that final pass coming up.
A double tuck. Oh, and a step out of bounds.
A strong routine, unfortunately, at the end. That may really cost her. Maybe just a little too much excitement.
Looks like she landed on the side portion of the mat, possibly causing her to land a little funky.
Here's Brittany Rogers for the gym jog. She recently just made it back. She is from Canada. She actually competes for Canada's gymnastics team. They just performed in the World Championships.
Solid and crisp finishes for her beam so far. Slight balance check on that combination leap pass, however. We haven't seen that acro pass yet. That was called an Anodi full.
Another fall.
That would mean they would have to count 2 falls towards their beam lineup score.
One is a 9.150, the other is a 9.0, I believe 7.5.
That would be more than a point off their total score.
And right now, Missouri is down by a point. That is 3 falls. They had 4 falls just this past Monday against Stanford.
Durante talked about how she was trying to change up the lineup and help gain their confidence on this event. But it looks like they're going back into their old habits.
And you can see the coach's face in the background just kind of scratching her head, wondering what is going on.
Really surprising to see after seeing such solid performances on the other events. Here's Morgan Porter on floor.
She would have been an all-arounder tonight for Missouri, but they took her out of the beam lineup.
A solid double pike for the first pass. When she does compete all around, her average is above a 39.1, placing her 25th in the nation. Being a freshman, that is more than impressive.
And of course, these routines will only be perfected the longer she's here.
Comes her last pass. double tuck to finish it off. Under rotation with the chest down, but the other two passes were solid.
A 9-1-7-5 for the Bulldogs. Brittany Rogers over on the beam.
Here's that double tuck where it just missed the mark a bit.
And you mentioned a step forward could be a deduction.
Yes.
Beth Box is the final athlete up for the Georgia Bulldogs over on beam tonight. 3 falls out of their first 5 competitors tonight.
It looks like Beth may have fallen at her last competition as well. Let's see if she can finish off the Bulldogs lineup strong. Back handspring layout perfectly stuck.
That almost looked like a take that beam.
Yes, the beam seems to be the enemy for this team right now, so I can see that happening. A little Michael Jackson added in 13.
Besides their falls, they've had a few elements of surprises on their beam routines. Nothing connected to the falls. It's been completely different part of the routine.
A small wobble in that combination. But yes, I agree. Their dance is very clean and unexpected. Stuck dismount there.
So thanks to Beth and Beth Box just had a really strong performance for the Georgia Bulldogs.
As Meredith would say, take that beam.
And Rachel, I just thought that looked like some attitude. Rachel Schick had another strong performance, but other than that, the Bulldogs struggled over on the beam. Kennedi Harris, I think, is so fun to watch on the floor. You called her, when you and I first started talking about Kennedi Harris, you called her a powerhouse. And I can see why. I think she's spunky on the floor.
Yes, her average is over a 9.875 on this event. And a double pike to start off. You could just tell the height is enormous. Just like Brandie Jay, her arms accentuate and just help develop an amazing floor routine.
You were talking when the Bulldogs were on the floor, dramatic music usually means some strong passes. She's got dramatic music.
And the strong passes are definitely a part of this routine. Here comes the last pass. Double tap and a great landing. You can hear the crowd cheer behind me. Extremely happy with the result of this routine.
I'm not sure if she can hear her music. I can't hear her music over the cheers from the crowd. This is going to be interesting to see what happens with the score. Missouri almost a full point down coming into the 4th rotation.
And a solid finish for Kennedi Harris.
We had 3 falls with the Georgia Bulldogs over on the beam. And we had only minor problems for the Missouri Tigers on the floor. And you can see some solemn faces for the Georgia Bulldogs. They started off strong with their vault, but the beam just rocked them again tonight. And of course, the Missouri Tigers wrapping up a home meet against number 10 ranked Georgia Bulldogs, possibly pulling out a win. We'll get your final scores to you when we return. inside of Mizzou Arena, major celebration from fans and the Missouri Tigers. They have beaten ranked Georgia 195.8 to 195.35. Details and a recap when we come back. You're watching the SEC Network and SEC Gymnastics.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Melrose here?
Oh,
Yes.
patriot love, in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true.
Wrapping up coverage of SEC Gymnastics inside Mizzou Arena in Columbia, Missouri tonight, where ranked number 15 Missouri just beat ranked number 10 Georgia tonight. 195.8 was Missouri's score, 195.34 Georgia's score, and this all took a turn right before rotation 4. Rotation 4 was a changer. Mizzou was almost down by a full point going into almost hard. It is nearly impossible to come back from almost a point down, but it happened, unfortunately, for Georgia.
Yes, that's a perfect example that it could be anyone's game. Georgia, unfortunately, fell 3 times. So a point taken down of their overall score. You can see there just the falls and the tension that was caused on Georgia's team.
So unfortunately, 2 of those actually counted towards their score. They can only drop 1. Missouri, on the flip side, stayed strong in their final event.
Yes, they had really strong finishes by both Morgan Porter and Kennedi Harris. No major mistakes there, and that's exactly why they won the competition.
And of course, that's a major win for Missouri tonight. For Sasha Sander, I'm Meredith Haynes saying so long from Columbia again.